guys? It's Patrick from Evoke.bike, and this is the first official episode of Fast Dad Fridays. So I introduced it last week, and my tip was get on Zwift, give it a shot, and it's just the most time efficient way you could ever possibly pedal a bike. It's in your basement, right? So by riding more Zwift, I realized that I have been overlooking one aspect of my cycling for like 10 years, and that's cadence. So episode 1 is all about cadence. I was getting to these Zwift races and I was getting bogged down. It would surge, or I'd start going up a climb and I'd be searching for a gear and I'd get into the 11 and I'd have nowhere to go and I couldn't push anymore. And it just doesn't have, when you're pedaling indoors, and everybody's probably experienced this who's done this, it just doesn't have quite that same feel as the road. You can't really dig into it in the same way. And so I started messing around with cadence. And, in previous seasons, I spend, 8 to 12 weeks in the winter where that's one aspect of the training that I kind of focus on, and I make it a priority, but then I put it down because there's other things to focus on. And I've never realized that probably was something that was a big mistake that I've been making for a long time. So in the past I've done, you do tractor pulls where you start at 0 and accelerate until like 90 plus RPM in your biggest gear. And I've done overspeed sprints and 10-second sprints, and overspeed surges were like a minute of high cadence. But I've never really done sustained cadence work, lots of sustained cadence work. And I started doing that this year. And I noticed when I was doing these intervals, because I wasn't doing sustained hour-long efforts at 100 RPM plus like I am now. I was doing just 5 and 10 minute duration intervals at endurance pace, but my heart rate was creeping up way higher than I'm used to seeing it, and the perceived exertion, how hard it felt for me, was going up, and I was breathing harder, and I wasn't even sure if I was still riding endurance anymore, but I felt like it was making me stronger. So I kept doing it, and I started digging a little bit deeper, and I realized that this can be a huge tool for somebody who's in the time crunched athlete camp, me. You really got to make every hour count, so this is huge. So I've kept doing it, and I think this is part of the reason I'm still continuing to grow as an athlete, is because of this big change. And so what am I doing? My general week looks pretty simple. I either rest on Sunday or Monday, and I ride 6 days a week otherwise. So I'm doing 2 workouts, probably 1 race and 2 workouts, or 2 races and a workout. Sometimes just 2 workouts in a week. And then the rest of the time I'm doing endurance. So 75% of MFTP. MFTP is the calculated threshold range in WKO4. And so, I'm doing at least 3 of these rides per week where I'm going out and I'm trying to average over 100 RPM for an hour. And that doesn't mean I'm glued to the saddle for an hour straight. I mean, I'm in and out of the saddle like normal, but I have average cadence for lap power in my Garmin. I've never actually considered that a viable metric before, but now it's one I use on every endurance ride. And so, okay, fine, you do more cadence, but why, right? What's the why behind doing this extra cadence work? And the benefit, I'm feeling the benefit twofold. So in one way, because I'm training 6 days a week, that's 1 less rest day. And I need to have my legs under me for my hard days, for the Zwift race, for whatever the threshold workout, whatever it may be. By running at a higher cadence, I'm actually causing less muscular fatigue. The strain is more a cardiovascular strain. And because it's more of a cardiovascular strain, I'm actually going to recover quicker from that. So there's another benefit there too. Not only am I going to be recovered for my hard days better, but I'm actually inducing a greater strain on my aerobic system. You can only do a certain number of workouts per week. If you did 6 workouts per week that were all intensity based, you'd burn out in like a week and a half. You wouldn't have legs for workout number 4. It wouldn't be fun. You'd go nuts. Your body would not adapt. You would not get any better. So my point is that I can't add workouts to add strain onto my schedule. I have to do it other ways. And bumping up the cadence and doing this overspeed stuff has really, really helped me add a physiological strain without the fear of burning out, without the fear of doing something that's not even gonna, help me get faster. So an indoor tool I have for working on this cadence is erg mode. Erg mode is when the trainer runs at a set intensity, a set wattage, and no matter how fast or how slow you pedal, it's gonna adapt its resistance so that you're at a steady power. And erg mode gets a pretty bad rap. A lot of people don't like it, but it's a tool just like anything else, just like a power meter. And if you use it correctly, it can be really super helpful. And the way I use erg mode for cadence is I get a nice playlist, like 100 BPM to 120 BPM, and I just turn it on and I just try to match the cadence of the music. And every song's a little different, so I get these different leg speeds for each different song. And it's really fun and it's really challenging because you're always gonna be over 100 RPM. But the value of doing that in erg mode is that you can focus on just one thing. So when I started trying to do these cadence intervals, getting above 90 was just painful. I mean, it was rough. I just did not have the coordination to do it. And I still like to race at a low RPM. I still like to go hard at lower RPMs, but I've been able to stress my system in a totally different way while being a time crunched athlete. And I dug up a few studies that all say about the same thing. What they're saying is that the observation at a higher cadence, it's less efficient, right? So this goes back to favoring a low cadence. I think I probably was favoring this lower cadence all along because it is more efficient. It feels better. You're using more musculature to create power. And I'm still doing this. I mean, I'm still a low cadence rider on my intensity days. If I'm doing a Zwift race, my average is going to be maybe 80. Or if I'm doing repeats, on a steep climb, it's going to be in the 70s because I'm standing almost the whole time. And that might seem like, well, this isn't working, but actually the fact that it's less efficient during your endurance rides that's really the huge opportunity to work on other things. I hope this is helpful for all you time crunched athletes, dads, moms, and anybody who really just wants to get more out of every time they hop on a bike. It doesn't have to be complicated, it just has to be consistent. Thanks for watching.